Well, that's good. Okay. Well, At least there was nobody there yet. All right. So, well, how about this? And let me get started here. Can you hear me now? Make sure I'm not screaming at everybody as well. Fantastic. See, glad I've got some friends out there. So essentially, I finally found somebody who was willing to come on and see what it is we do here. And as you know, I am the drizzle. This is my tank, but this is not Sunday. It is 6 o'clock, so the time is right. But how could this be? Why is this so? Well, it turns out there's somebody out there who's just as screwed up as me and a little more even. Has had quite the similar experience in general. It's been interesting getting to know this gentleman. He's been very interesting to. What, sweetheart? What? Right off the bat, you haven't said a word in so much time. Goodbye. had to shut the dog off. So the this gentleman has he's an artist, he's a musician, he's an epileptic, obviously. Somebody who deals with very similar problems to what it is that I go through. I mean, it's really that sounds like he's got like the same darn story every time we talk. It's a it really is one of those you're not alone scenarios. It truly is something that has been beneficial just to hear his story. If anybody watched a few weeks ago, we did an episode on art therapy and the relation to creativity and different ways people feel, how they feel after having seizures, after they've had different operations and such, and being that they've spoke of such drastic things with me, that I wanted to make sure that what I might be getting into was something that I was going to be able to handle. And so I've reached out to people that were similar, that had like scenarios. Now, currently, I'm waiting for this gentleman to get set up. I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure if he has a StreamYard account or any of that yet, but I have sent him over a link. And hey, good to see you. Yeah, we're hoping he can get his setup going. He also has a lot of issues, so I mean, if it does take him a couple minutes to get here, we'll just carry on until he can get his things together. I'm gonna sit here and make sure that he is good. All right, and as always, the one thing that I try to really cover is the idea that let me see here. Oh crud. Let me do it. There we are. I want to make sure I don't. It's been a couple weeks. I'm a little out of loop. I wasn't expecting, so I'm just moving in. So epilepsy, terrible silent disease. Many of us have it. Roughly 3.5 million people here in America alone suffer. You are not alone. Tell me your story. Tell us all. Enjoy some conversations, some tunes, some optimism. Just keep in mind, I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I probably can't take your blood pressure right. Although we did check on that. I actually can take blood pressure. I do know how to do that. Plus we have one of those automatic cuffs too. That does all the work for me. So that thing's also quite helpful. But like I said, I'm not trained to. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a specialist in any field of this kind. I'm just a guy who's been dealing with epilepsy for 15 years, and this is just what I go through, and these are just the things that go along with it. And fortunately, when I learn things, I know that it could be beneficial to others. So, uh, I just if you're gonna come speak, try and I'd like having you to have somebody there to just to be sure that if something does happen, that you're okay. Um, if Sunday's not your day, here's proof positive. It's I'll do it any day of the week. I'll do it any day of the week. Whatever works. Uh, if there is an emergency, there is a delay. I'll just hit the stop real quick on the view of yours to everybody else. If something needs to happen, not much I can do from where I'm at, but that's why we like having somebody around. Or if not everybody that has epilepsy is out of control. Some people have their epilepsy far under control, and it's not an issue. So if you're safe to do something like an interview, feel free to come along anytime. If your goal is to do something crazy, except there's a delay, it's not going to happen on the screen. I can assure you that. I'm very quick with this here clicker, but regardless, this is I'm quite looking forward to this. Let me grab my water real quick here. So in the meantime, while we wait for him to get set up, figure out what it is, yeah, I'm guessing he's got to make an account. That's my guess. I sent him the link. I'm not sure if he had a StreamYard account. Lately, I've been part of a research study for my memory, and it's kind of pushed me into a couple of other channels that have allowed me to look outside of all of this standard medical practice and procedure, and try and find ways to benefit my being housewise. I mean, I just it's been 15 years and I still don't have an exact diagnosis. I've been denied multiple treatments just because they just can't decipher if it's going to be enough. Anytime they talk about things like brain surgery or RNS and VNS, the responsive nerve stimulator, or vagus nerve stimulator, which are just these devices that are used to control parts of your brain in general. The vagus nerve stimulator just hits the nerve in the side of your neck to assure that it just does it every maybe 30 seconds, every 3 minutes or something. Sometimes it's longer. It just keeps you from being able to have certain types of seizures, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot that goes along with it. I've been in touch with Livanova, and I'm supposed to be going to see the Mayo Clinic down in Orlando. But I mean, just like getting into Duke, it took me 6 years, and it took me a lot of fighting. I literally screamed at people, and it took all that just to get in there, just to find out that the doctor that was there was not really my cup of tea either. It wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't what I was expecting. So I've looked into some new options, and over the weekend, I saw an advertisement for something that, I mean, it was on Facebook. It was while I was looking at Marketplace, and it was in regards to ketamine injections. Essentially, they've found recently that people truly seem to be benefiting. Hey, how's it going? People truly seem to be benefiting from different microdosing type situations. Certain states are using psilocybins. what I came across on Facebook was an advertisement for therapeutic ketamine injections in a clinical setting. So essentially, if you have depression, you have anxiety, you have just different mental problems, just things where you're just not firing off right. They give you these injections, and apparently it's supposed to help. It's supposed to help all kinds of things, just basically reset you. For many years, the ketamine was used as an anesthetic, anesthesia, and they used to put people out. I don't know much about the history. If you know me, I'm one that once I learn about something, I'm going to dig deep. I'm only a couple days into this now, because 2 days ago, I said to Lala, I said, should I try this? And so we looked into it, and it turns out there's international and national pharmaceutical studies currently in action to see about the benefits of these treatments for people with severe depression, severe anxiety, severe OCD, but also for people that have generalized epilepsy and partial seizures. And so we started looking, and it turns out they're having pretty good results. It seems like it's something that's more realistic than people give it credit for. I mean, most of the time when people hear ketamine, they think drugs. But everything that we take are drugs. You take Tylenol, you take aspirin, you take blood pressure medication. Those are all drugs. You can call them what you want to call them. Just because you don't get a high, it's different. Well, guess what? I don't mind taking shrooms. I think they're kind of fun. So the idea of being in a clinical setting with a doctor, a nurse practitioner, and there's a third person, I guess, that's in the room while it goes on. And they essentially, they on next Tuesday, because I called yesterday, I set up an appointment for one of these clinics in Myrtle Beach. That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Migraines are awful. And that's the thing, is so many times they're just stuck to something else, something in your diet, something like that. And something as simple as nice little trip, nice little trip through your own subconscious is all it takes to kind of look at yourself even and say, what's causing my migraines? What's causing my problems? What is it? It's because that's what's so nice about these hallucinogenic treatments, is they're not just doing something physically to you. They're allowing you to do something mentally to yourself. And essentially what I'm going for is the ability to just shut off and let the neurons that aren't firing right just stop trying. Just shut them down, because your brain will rebuild. It'll create new neurons. You can fix yourself, but you have to, just like a trash pile or something. If you throw the good stuff on top of the trash, it may look like trash, but you just got to get the trash out of the way and keep the good stuff. So essentially, that's what I'm thinking is the general idea. Just shut down long enough for things that aren't working right to stop trying to work for a little bit. So they shut you down. It takes about 15 minutes or so, they said, to get you into just into a state where you're just out. And then you're in that state for about half an hour, and then they do something to pull you back from sedation and some sort of something that dilutes it and allows you to come back safely. Uh, oh, let's see. I forget I can click on these, huh? Because I can't read that over there for crud. And Dr. is I'll never know, but the timing makes it very possible. Well, see, that's great. That's good to hear. Even just a slight positive feedback, it gives me hope. Honestly, I mean that's what it really comes down to. Is I haven't had much hope lately. It's hard to have hope in all of this. It's hard to deal with what I'm dealing with and be able to put my faith in anything or anybody. It really is. It's I try to always help anybody I can whenever I can. I always try to be there for everybody any chance I can. And I'm just looking for it for something that's going to help me. I mean 50-50, 50-50, I can live with 50-50. I can live with that. It will or it won't. That's a lot better than a freaking maybe. I can tell you that. Maybe's a tough one. Maybe's a hard one. Oh. We gotta get you healthy. We gotta get you healthy. Should watch my diet episode. Get you on the modified Atkins. You'll be a beefcake like me. I'm sure that's your dream. Be a male beefcake. It really is. And then on top of it, I don't know where you're at, but I know here the pollen is horrible. Oh my gosh, the pollen gets so bad around here. The pine trees in the spring, I mean, it paints your car yellow, paints your house yellow. It's very tough. Good evening, Polar. If I said it right, I'd notice that's an O now. That's always a rough one. That's always a rough one. Well, hopefully, hopefully there's a solution to your dilemma, my friend. Sometimes we can't help it when it's somebody else. As much as we want to help those around us, it's always one of those situations we can't fix everybody, and we aren't everybody. And sometimes you just have to let people be themselves and move on. And I got family I don't even talk to. I mean, I absolutely don't talk to certain family members, not because I don't care about my family, but because there's no benefit to it. What am I going to get from it? What are they going to get from it? What am I bringing to the table when I show up just to say hi? And it's depressing. It's depressing to watch people that you love just not be able to handle regular life. And I'm sure Elias is dealing with that a lot. Watching me sit here and try everything I can to do anything I can. I still I don't see Zach still. So let me see. Let me message him real quick. Make sure everything is okay. Because honestly, this gentleman has Uh, Yeah, unfortunately, this gentleman has had he's had a very similar story. I was 21 when I had my first seizure that I was aware of. Uh, yeah, toxic family members, and that's something this gentleman knows about as well. But when I first started talking with him, it was the similarities. Uh, oh, hmm. Oh, oh, yep. Well, that's just me. uh, uh, shoot. Let me see here. Well, so let me get back to this. That's where I'm from originally. Is Pennsylvania. I'm a Northwest Pennsylvania boy myself. It's been weird because I miss being able to go up there and be able to enjoy it. But I mean, now that my father passed away, my family never reaches out to me or anything like that. So uh, essentially, uh, I'm just trying to get to a point where I can go up home and be able to handle seeing things and not get so emotional that I lose track of why I'm there in the first place, because that's typically what seems to happen. And then I just sit there and try and do yard work for days and wear myself out beyond belief. It's about the best I can do. Let me see here. Now, I see somebody has joined me in the green room. This is fantastic. Let me pull up a little something here. So, this gentleman here, his name is Zach Beckemeyer. He is out of Orange County, California, and he is a wonderful human being. He has a great soul, a great mind, great creativity, and absolute pleasure to welcome him here. I'm going to add this gentleman here and make sure I got yours. How are you doing tonight, Zach?
Oh, actually, I'm doing pretty good right now. I just had a nice lunch of something that's probably gonna fight me in a little while. That's it. But it stopped by a really great little German cafe that is not too far down the street from here. So it's one of my favorite places called Globe Deli, and they have fantastic German cuisine. And I was never a big drinker, but I actually really enjoyed some of their beers that I tried when I did try those. But yeah, I had some a great lunch, and I am full and just enjoying the rest of the day as much as I can. Tomorrow I will be having an RNS surgery.
Different
They'll be
story.
Yeah, that's another story, and that's something else that isn't going to be involved with my epilepsy. Um,
Hold on here.
Epilepsy is a beast,
Uh oh.
but
Hold on. 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 Hold on.
Epilepsy
Losing.
And
Let me plug into
oh
the
yeah,
internet.
you gotta plug in,
Ain't kidding.
especially so
Yeah, I'm
deep
gonna try
under
and
the
plug
sea,
this bad
man.
boy right in.
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh-oh. I disappeared.
Yeah.
Shit.
You gotta learn to swim,
What
man. Come on.
Oh my God. Don't do this. Let me see here. Kick my face off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just
Oh,
fine,
okay. Woo.
yeah.
So apparently I'm swimming very, very deeply in this right now.
If not, you went up and decided to get a little bit of air. Go up with your other
oh man.
with
Here, I got
your other
here
whales
we go.
and
We're just moving. I apologize, Zach. I just I thought I was all set up to do this perfectly this evening, but
that's all good.
my internet is being fantastic. Which camera?
Kick it in the
Let's just
tail.
occasionally. Oh well, let me see. This is supposed to be the two of us. Hey, look at that! There I am.
There we go.
I'm
All
in a
right.
new world though. I just moved into a new world called the office. So
All
this should
right.
have better internet in here. I should be in good shape.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is my office here. It's called
perfect.
a mattress and
I spent a lot of time on that office as well. Quite a few months last year I spent hanging out on that office. Well, fantastic. Good. I'm glad this is starting to sound better.
yeah.
Like I said, I usually do this on Sundays, so I sit there all Sunday afternoon and get myself set up. And so I was like, oh, I'll just play a little guitar and see how things go. And then you
Yeah.
message me. I'm like, yes, okay. Well, actually, no. Let's just jump right back into it. I apologize for taking the quickness out of that, but like you said, go ahead. You were, I believe, just getting into what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah. Um well, uh I'm epileptic, and we have tried so many different ways to try and control it. And the the only way that's really controlled it so far was what is generally known as the last resort. You don't want to have to go in and take out pieces of someone's neurological system, especially in the brain. And they had to go in there in 2000, in August of 2018 on for me and remove 3 millimeters of brain tissue from my left temporal lobe, so over here. And it was actually kind of silly the way that they do the operation because they have to really give you a big scar there. I it's can't see it on, on my head here or wherever I can go. Yeah, but it's shaped in its shape is a really big uh, question mark. So it's just kind of was a silly little thing I put together after I woke up and kind of got back into it. And we're well, I'm like, I was not expecting it to look that big for one, and then all of a sudden it looks like a question mark, and I started laughing at it. And nurses thought I was going crazy, but I was no, I just ironic. Um, but anyways, overall, it did a great job. It did. I didn't have a seizure for 2 whole years, and then all of a
That's
sudden,
fantastic.
something happened. Still don't know what it was, and we're still looking for it. But, um, yeah, this Friday, tomorrow. I'll be at 5:30 p.m. or excuse me, 5:30 a.m. in the Pacific Standard Time. I gotta be over at Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach, and they are one of the top in the nation, and it's really
It's
beautiful to
such a
have that kind of
beautiful, yeah, that's a great
absolutely beautiful
hospital. I've
place
been
to
there a
be.
few times when I lived out there.
Yeah,
It was a fantastic hospital.
yeah. And they treat you like you need to be treated, and also solve lots of great problems. They have all the
That's great to
machinery
hear.
you need, and it's a wonderful thing to be a part of. Um,
I'm so glad to
but
hear that. I'm glad you're
yeah,
comfortable because I mean that's like that's been one of the hardest things for me is going from hospital to hospital to hospital. You
yeah,
know, they do the same things over and over again. You get the same treatment. You kind of just feel like a number after a little
yeah,
while. So when you do find those doctors that seem like they care, it's helpful. It makes you feel more comfortable when you're getting up to those scenarios. So
yeah.
has that been one of the beneficial parts of being with them to working
Absolutely.
towards this?
It's just I felt comfortable. I was out of my mind. I had no clue what the hell was going on. and and I just was I every time I would I was having them whenever I was able to get to find a job or anything. That was the most difficult thing, was trying to find a job and being able to stay at the job without having them. They are not allowed to fire me, but they are allowed to let me go in a different fashion. And uh,
Yeah,
it was,
I dealt with them last year. As even I
yeah.
had a part-time job, they did that to me, so
Uh,
I know how that goes.
I had a big black eye one time, but
It's
thought I was a
depressing too because I
badass.
the whole time I thought I was going to come back to work. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah. But I'm lucky to be where I'm at. I'm lucky to have the neurological team and other doctors that I have. They've been very helpful, and um, they're solving problems a lot faster than my previous one. All he was doing was throwing medications at me. Here, try this, try this, try this. Nothing, and then I met this doctor out of random, Dr. Millette, and he's a director of a epilepsy program there. So it's been very um, great to work with him. I got to actually speak with him this afternoon. He gave me a little call, asked me if how I was doing, if I was still ready to go for tomorrow. And why I say that is because tomorrow is going to be another um, surgery. It's not gonna be as large. They're not gonna really go too deep into my brain, but, 2 electrodes will be placed inside of there, and, it's called an RNS device. I always forget the name of the R. I always gotta remember that.
Responsive,
But
responsive nerve stimulator.
responsive neural stimulation, yeah, and it's
Yep,
supposed to
yep.
be a
That's
very,
it
great,
blew me off for a little while too.
yeah. And that'll be placed, in the complete other hemisphere from where my other seizures were coming from, so now everything is going from the left to the right, and it's just one little spot in the prefrontal cortex, so pretty much right behind my where my finger is now, and, they're gonna have to go in a little bit kinda get deep, and then, after that, they just, keep it in there. It's very, very thin, very, great technology, and then it goes up into, a thing about the size of my thumb, and I have pretty skinny fingers, but so but it's about that big, and, it's gonna go, right not on top of the skull, but it's gonna be in kind of like a little, bowl type of shape to go along with it, so it's, actually it has that shape to it, and once it's done, I just wanna get it
Keeping my
over
face.
with.
There we
I
go.
Yeah. Once it's
I
done,
bet.
I'm
I
just happy
bet.
to go forward and, um, see what else, uh, will, have to be. Hopefully it does what it's supposed to do, but I honestly I'm still trying
The
to.
one nice thing, I've heard excellent things about it
Yeah,
from the few people that I have spoke to that actually have the device implanted in their head. A couple of them, they hadn't had the surgery where they had a part removed yet, so they had 4 stimulators on theirs, and they were talking about how now they're talking about being able to add even more than that.
yeah.
Neuralink, through it's one of the what's that guy who owns Twitter? Sorry, my memory is terrible.
Oh,
Elon Musk. Elon Musk. He has Neuralink, and I've actually tried to donate myself to Neuralink a couple of times. They said they haven't. They got people whose arms and legs didn't move to be able to walk and move and use their arms again. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. They
I
started
don't
moving
know
their hands, all this. So they said they're doing a
who the
similar
hell
thing with
are his
people.
employees. I mean, who? Where does he find these people? This is that's really an incredible technology.
That's what I mean. I was shocked. So I'm like, man, if you guys need a guinea pig, nobody else has done anything good for me so far. So I'd be more than happy to let you give it a shot if things keep getting any worse for me. So I did, but they said, nah, we're not looking for people right now. So that's when I started looking for other options.
Yeah,
The diet, the modified Atkins diet, where I don't eat more than like 120 carbohydrates a day. I've removed anything from my diet that says artificial, mechanically processed food colorings, metals,
yeah.
softeners, any of those letter combination things, any of the phenylneutronics, like anything that goes into diet sodas. I didn't have a seizure for 3 years after I did that.
Yeah,
I stopped taking Lamorticin. I stopped. I didn't. But I also stopped drinking. I didn't drink at all at that point either. But
that
that
boy. You know what? That's a good one because that's a pretty. I've seen one person. He actually turned into a pretty decent friend. He was very nice. It's just he was no good anymore. He was just downing bottles of vodka, and he would just go to the store and take them, and they'd be like $3, $4 bottles, but they were really big bottles of really crappy vodka, and he just down it up. Died at the age of 36, and that was last 2 years ago. And his mom is still down and out about it, and he just his and it's also not just that, but also personally, my brother, he was always had a big problem with alcohol and drugs, and he is now kaput with that, and it
that's
turned him into a whole nother person. He's like, you can see his vibes. It's beautiful. He's got
that's
married.
awesome.
He's married, and he's one of the most. I I I just really want to give him so many hugs all the time, and it's he's always been. I'm the youngest in of my family, and my mom has four children, and I'm 30. I'm gonna be 35 on the 1st of the March, so um, that's gonna be pretty fun. But
Pretty
yeah,
eventful.
to
Pretty
see how it
eventful 35
affects.
then.
Yeah, but to see how alcohol affects a lot of people and how it changes once it's gone. It's a very beautiful sight to see. It. I mean, I don't want to go involved in that, and I'm so happy that never was something in my problem. I would just smoke cigarettes for. I smoked cigarettes for about 15 years, and then after that, I'm like, I need a back surgery. They're not going to take it. If they had to go in, I had to have a back surgery, so I was able to quit smoking cigarettes, and that helped out a lot too. And but now I'm here, so um,
It's been a journey, though, I hear. Because
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
just annoying.
it was funny that you had said that article was in the Epilepsy Foundation, because I'm always going through their articles and stuff. I go back
Yeah,
and read backdated stuff and everything. So it was shocking. I think I found you on like maybe the Daily Wire or something like that. It was like
Yeah.
some bigger news thing that I was like, oh wow, this is really cool, because the topic for our episode a couple of weeks ago was art therapy and creativity after having surgeries and stuff. I was really worried that if I do end up having to get a surgery, am I going to be able to be? Am I still going to be creative? Am I
That is
still going to be
something
able to
that I
paint?
asked my
I'm still gonna
doctor.
want to.
That is something I asked my doctor when I saw him 2 days ago, and that was something I'm very afraid of. I don't want that to be affecting that area, considering of where the prefrontal cortex and what it does. And that's one of them is creativity has that and everything. My memory is already a bust. It's a bummer. It's very difficult to keep, even in and also communications. Just talking back and forth. It can be a very difficult thing to try and
Yeah. I was worried about
so
how this was going to go, because my
yeah,
memory, sometimes I'll sit here and just blank and stare for like a good
yeah,
15, 20 seconds. And like my wife, she's used to it, and people that know me are used to it. But
yeah,
people that don't, they look at me like,
yeah.
and I'm like, I try to talk, but
It's like you're
nothing
gonna
comes out.
explode. Yeah, yeah. It's you gotta light the fuse, right?
I've had this done to me many, many times. Like, you all right?
Yeah.
Nope. Apparently not.
Uh, I forgot what
Oh
those are
man.
called. That's something I
Focal,
get every day
partial
too.
focals. Yeah,
Yeah,
the focal
yeah, yeah.
awareness seizures. I hate them because I
I
can't
just
talk, but I can see and I can hear. I just can't make anything come out. Sometimes I drool on myself and I look like a real
yeah.
moron. It's
Oh,
kind of irritating.
you know what? Next time you drool, make sure it's after a nice endoscopy. I had one of those done the other day. I had the most comfortable drool.
A comfortable drool. That's an adjective I don't know if I've ever heard placed next to drooling before. That's pretty great.
I woke up very happy. I was they stick a camera down my throat and they gave me the actual pictures. I can pick them up over
Oh,
the
that's sick. See, I always want that kind of
phone.
stuff. I'm like, please let me see all of that stuff. Do you want it? Yes, please. Like all the weird baby stuff, everything. I've got so many weird ones. I got one the other day from my shoulder X-ray and stuff when I dislocated my shoulder out, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no
this is
way.
cool. I love this stuff. This is fun. It's
Yeah,
fun to
it's
see how
very
broken I
interesting.
am. Oh
Uh,
man. So you said you had back surgery. What was the back surgery?
yeah, I had a L4, L5 disc protrusions, and they were coming out about 2 centimeters. It was just very, very big. That's a lot of pain, and
Yeah,
that pain
I
was
can
going
imagine.
all the way down to the bottom of my foot, and only on the right side, but it was hitting my um but it was sticking out quite a bit. But they were able to get in there pretty quickly, and just what they do is they take a something kind of like a uh what is it when you go on your nails, like a nail file, and they just kind of file it down. That's it. There you go.
Like a
And
tooth or
then
something that's sticking up.
yeah,
You
and then
yeah, we'll
that's
just
it.
grind that son of a bitch down for you. No
Yeah,
big deal. That's
they don't want to
hilarious.
mess up anything that's in between. I mean, it's
Yeah, you
just a
don't want to
disc.
mess
They
up
didn't
those.
have to take it out, which is great. I didn't have to fuse anything, so it didn't.
No weird
Now it's
rods
just
or
it.
anything.
No, nothing like that.
That's
It
awesome.
was a
Well,
very simple procedure, and they're like, "We won't do this until you stop smoking cigarettes." And I'm like, "Yes, okay, I have an excuse."
heck yeah, that's
I was
great. I
hurting
like
that bad,
that.
man. I couldn't walk anywhere. It was getting really bad. But yeah, that was because of all the seizures I was having. I was having a lot of I kept falling, that's just part of the deal. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Tell
last
me about
seizure I
it.
had,
This scar,
yeah,
chin,
yeah,
and I'm a mess. I've got so many
yeah.
freaking
I'd
fall
show you
marks.
my boobs right now, but they're all kind of yeah. No, no,
Mine
no.
are all over the internet,
Right.
pretending to be a
Uh,
stud muffin.
oh my goodness. Yeah. No, last time I had a tonic-clonic actually was in the middle of the night, and I think it was between the time I was about to either use the restroom. It was right after but I fell on top of my guitar. Thing snapped in half. That, yeah. And I was so
what
upset
a
by it.
bummer.
I just left it there for
I
probably
bet.
almost a whole month. It was just sitting right in the corner of my bedroom. And then a very nice friend of mine actually was, he's like, I got this old Yamaha I do not use, and it's kind of just collecting dust. Do you want it? And I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's got kind of a small body, but it's definitely a comfortable guitar to play. It's not too bad of
They
a
have a good
little
folk
acoustic.
sound, the older
Yeah.
Yamahas. Is it one of the like F series or something? F or G
You know
series?
what? I haven't looked inside. I need to look inside. Let me come over here and grab it.
So now I got a question for you. When you first started having seizures, you weren't having any before that you know of, right? In hindsight, or
Not at
did it
all.
just start out?
Before I started having them out, it was in 2011, and I had one in my mom's car, and I was not driving it. She came over to pick me up. I was living in Long Beach at the time, and luckily we were pretty close to the hospital, so we were able to go there, and they were able to help me out. But I still don't even remember any of that. I remember living in Long Beach. I remember the people that were there, certain people at least, and I remember really loving the town. But in the areas that we were at, Long Beach has some wonderful pockets to live in, and it's can be relatively inexpensive as well, which is nice. But
Yeah, compared to some of the other places I was at, that's why I was in Newport for a little while, and it was just I was like, man, this is ridiculous. I'm like,
yeah,
there's so many people living in one house to try and afford rent and stuff. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like,
there's 6
I'm just
people living in my cousin's house right now. He's up in San Pedro.
that's what it was. It was in Pedro. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah,
Man,
it's
that's where my
gotten
wife's
really
from.
heavy.
She's from Pedro. She's from Pedro, PV, and originally born and raised and stuff. She actually didn't leave until I took her.
Yeah. Luckily, my cousin can make a little bit of extra funds. He is a pretty good bass guitar player, but he also plays um, just a standard guitar with a lot of different punk bands and stuff. He plays as like it's like a backup if they need someone to come and play, But
That's awesome. What a
yeah,
cool gig.
but
Now,
this
is that
little
like a
guy,
parlor style guitar? Is that what it is? Just like one of the little
but
small bodies instead of like the dreadnought? It's just like one of the little tiny body ones?
yeah,
Oh, so
it's got kind of a thick neck. It looks like to me. I think that might just be because of the body, but you can see how deep these go.
oh, yeah. Look at that. That's a
So
cool body.
yeah, so it's actually still in pretty good condition. It's got a lot
Heck
of
yeah.
scratches, which means it was handled with tremendous
Less
amounts
than
of
care.
care. Right? But yeah. Pardon me one moment. Okay, cool. Okay. Yes, I will. Pardon me.
Oh, no, you're
I,
fine.
I'm a 34-year-old asked to live with my mom, which is kind of
Yeah,
a
I luck out with having my wife, that's for sure.
yeah. Out of tune, but lots of fun to play either way. It's still
Yeah.
comfortable. I have another one, but the thing is that I got this thing when I was 16. It's hanging up on my wall now, but
More of a treasure than a toy.
it's something that I got it for $60. I was in Echo Park with my brother at the time, and
It's so weird saying these words. Like after it's been so long since I've been in California. You say Echo Park. I'm like, geez, God, it's been so long since I've been to Echo Park.
yeah, no, it's still the same city. It's just a lot more now. No, it's some company called Capistrano. I'd never heard of them before, but
Yeah, they're actually good guitars.
it
I've
was
played a
very
couple of them in the
difficult to
pawn
learn on.
shops.
It's very
Oh, for
difficult
real?
to learn on because of the high strings from the fretboard, but I was able to. It took so long for me to learn how to do a bar chord. I was like, oh, there's such a different way to play them. I don't play them with my finger down too often. I normally play them as like an open bar. But
yeah.
anyways,
I
it's
like those sounds, and even if it's just your finger just touching the dead note, everything as you're playing that open chord further down the neck, even those sound cool. I noticed you had like kind of a blues sound. You went for more of a blues sound. I like that.
Yeah. I don't get to play it very often because I live in a very small apartment complex, and
That's all there is out there. That's everything. I couldn't take it. You have to
it's
live
hard.
close enough. You pay $1 million for a house so that you can hear your neighbor's toilet flush. It's insane.
It's not just that, man. They go at it. You can hear them just either yelling at each other or having a blast of a good time, and you can just hear it right across. And I'll even have my headphones on and listening to some good tunes, and just all of a sudden,
You
I
could have at
got
least invited me to the party. Come
come
on.
on, man, come on.
Knock on the wall and invite me over. What the hell? So let me jump into this a little bit. When you first started having seizures, you obviously weren't having a lot. So did they start to just get dramatically worse, or?
Yeah. I was trying to do everything I could on my own, and it was very difficult to understand what was going on, because at the time I didn't think it was something I wasn't given the word of epilepsy, of being an epileptic person. I was not getting any kind of gaining any kind of disability insurance. I wasn't having any of that. I just had something called Cal Optima.
Yep.
And that was all I had. And luckily, I was able to get some help, and my family knows what they're doing. And once we got a good doctor, I was able to get my disability after five times trying. Boom, I was able to get that after 5
Only
times.
5, huh? Only took you 5? How
Only took
ridiculous.
me 5.
I'm
And
sorry
then
it took
once
you that long, man. I'm sorry to even hear that. Even in hindsight,
it
that
takes a
sucks.
long time for a lot of people, but I'm like, I'm in the hospital this many times every year. I'm like, this is a
I'm like,
lot.
you're the ones who tell me I'm not allowed to drive. You're the ones who tell me I'm not allowed to be around my kids by myself. You're the ones that tell me I'm not allowed to do this. So, like, how am I not able to get disability? But I'm still not on disability. They give me Medicaid. Medicaid. Yeah, that's a but they will not give me disability. They deny me. So I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go through all that stuff with getting lawyers and all that. I'll just find a solution, is what my thought process was, although things keep getting worse.
I think it might have been because when I started seeing Dr. Millett over at Hoag, he actually found me. And it was because my previous neurologist, I think he was 73. He's way past his prime, way done. Doesn't really know what some of the other new things to do are.
All the new stuff,
And then, and he was just throwing medications at me and trying from, 30 days, try these, 30 days, try these. And it got to a point where I was just like, I just want to get rid of this guy and try something new and just find out what the heck's wrong, what's causing this. So either way, I was sent over. He finally sent me on after several tries of medications. He finally sent me to get an EEG. That's a standard thing. That's like a first trial thing.
Yeah.
To do for someone who has a seizure, and to make sure that your seizures can be read and can be seen. And within about maybe 5 minutes of wearing the thing, after it took him so long to put it on my head because I had really long hair at the time. I felt bad for the nurses and the techs. But but after they put it all on me, all the electrodes and devices and stuff, it went up in like a conehead type of character, and then Dr. Millett comes in and he just is asked, "Hi, I'm Dr. Millett," and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Zach," and I just kind of was up and down like, "You look kind of important," and he's like, "Oh, I'm very interested in working with you. Would you like to join?" So,
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, that was
That's
about it.
awesome.
That's about
That's
it.
really cool. It's kind of odd how the world works its way out like that occasionally.
Yeah,
I really feel like seeing that advertisement for the ketamine injections a few days ago was like, it was so ironic because I was getting so upset about the fact that I was like, man, I'm like, I can't get my doctors to call me back. I still haven't
yeah,
heard back from Orlando. Duke gave up on me. The other hospital in town, they like got notes on me to basically tell me to screw off after my last episode down there. And like it's been really weird. It's been super weird. So man, I'm really glad to hear that you have a good, comfortable place that you feel like that
yeah,
they're there because they want you there, not because you had to push your way in. Because that's what it's felt like for me this entire time, is me just pushing my way in everywhere and just trying to get people to help me. And they help as much as they can. But we've come across old doctors that like they don't even know we show up and we start talking about things and they like don't know what we're talking about. Me and my
yeah,
wife, only because she does medical research and we're both college graduates. We know how to research and study and figure things out. So
yeah.
when we show up to the doctor's office and we know more than them, it's very frustrating. So that's
Absolutely.
very cool to hear your story. That's how you ended up into it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm very happy that I have the family that I do and the people that have really helped me out over the years. And since 2011, when I had to be seen first, they just thought I was on drugs or something, and that's a lot of people were. And there was one there are several times I kept having to go to another hospital because it's one of the worst in Orange County too. I don't know if I'm allowed to say names, but um, if you live in Anaheim, you might know it. Um, either way,
I think I'm familiar.
yeah, yeah. If you're near Ball and Beach Boulevard, it's pretty nasty
Right
area.
around that general
Oh
vicinity.
gosh. No, you see people really they're as they cross the street as they jaywalk, they're hitting their
Meth
uh
pipes
their
and
speed. Yeah, they're hitting
yeah,
their methamphetamine and stuff. And
so wild out
across the
there. I mean,
street from the hospital, there's a donut shop, and and who hangs around that little area where the donut shop is are a lot of people who have unfortunate addiction problems, and they just go back and forth to get their shots and then come back and just hang out, do their thing. And it's
that's a
really a
shame.
bummer to see what life can bring to other people as well, and involving this kind of thing. But um, I've had to go
Definitely
through
tough.
so many different ways of being treated though, and I had to
Now
sleep in a
I got a
machine for a
question for
while.
you. Did you have a predisposition? Does anybody else in your family have seizures or anything?
My mom had one when I was not born yet. She had was in a car accident, I think sometime in the late 70s, early 80s. I was born in 88. But and then she just had one, but it was caused from having um, what is it when your brain hits your skull?
Concussion.
Concussion. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So she had a non-epileptic seizure due
Yeah.
to force and trauma. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it was caused by the trauma of that, and that's about all. We've searched back my dad's side. It hasn't been a big deal. No one's had one, and also on my mom's side, she knows a lot about her family and her side of the family and stuff, and knows doesn't really. She's not like secretly keeping a bunch of medical information, but she knows but she knows what's up. She knows definitely who's had what and
So that's our irony too. Is my mother
yeah.
had she had a non-epileptic seizure over the weekend. She fell off of my deck and then had a seizure underneath the deck. She was trying to help me tear this old deck apart, and she fell off the deck face first, and she landed on the pry bar into her shoulder blade and hit her
Oh.
chest into the ground. And I thought she hit her head, but she said she didn't. So she bruised her chest and might have dislocated, but it went back in her collarbone, and it's all bruised up. But I watched my mom have a non-epileptic seizure last week, and I've never seen anything like that from my mom. And so I was like, see, now that I can understand my mom having that, but nobody else in the family had seizures. We have a cousin that they crushed his skull coming out during birth because he was coming out wrong, and he has like 50 to 80 seizures a day, but that's because he's brain damaged, you know?
Yeah.
And so we find a lot of irony in the fact that my niece, my first son, my wife, her sister, we've all had seizures, but none of our parents did.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic that our generation seems to be having far more seizures than our parents' generation. And it's one of those things that I'm like, man, I think about where I've had the most seizures so far has been places where we've had bad water and stuff like that. Places where oh, that's right. I guess I'm lying, and because that's my mother right there reminding me that my great uncle died in a car accident because they believe he had a seizure. They couldn't confirm it because this was a long time ago, but that's what they believed, was that he had a seizure and had died in a car crash. I guess I forgot about that. Uncle, I believe his name was Elton. So anytime I hear Elton, I just think of Elton John immediately. It's like one of the brain worm
It's all
things.
good. Yeah.
Now, do you have an exact diagnosis? Have they like told you exactly what it is that's wrong with you?
I am still having seizures, so it is you know what? We really don't know. We don't have an exact conclusion to it. And it's just my body it pretty much rejects the medication I'm on to an extent of allowing these daily auras and different types of focal seizures. And like you're mentioning, gazing off and staring. You're staring, and then sometimes your mouth just starts drooping, and it just feels like your face is melting. And it's really a strange, weird thing. And all this is a new experience for me. I haven't had this kind of side to it before. They were very dramatic. They were very dangerous, and
Would you go status
everything.
epilepticus? Would you
But
just keep having seizures, or would you just have really long seizures?
I wouldn't just have one. It would be some. Most of the time, it would just be at least two. One, and then right after it, another one. Pardon me. And
So would you get out of your postictal state? Like, would you like
it
come to it all, or would you
I
still be kind of
would, but
out of it when the second one would happen?
it would take some time before I would. Otherwise, I would be pretty much have to be picked up, moved into a safer zone. But
Man, there is a
towards
reason why this show is called "What Do You Know? You're Not Alone." I'm telling you, my
yeah,
wife is probably sitting where she's at right now, saying, "Wow, is he telling your story?" Like
yeah,
the consistency in how similar our stories are. Besides me not having the brain
yeah,
surgery because I just wasn't willing, we have like the same exact story. This is
yeah,
insane.
yeah.
This has been very,
The,
very great talking to you for sure. So I'm glad
Thank you.
we're getting to go over this stuff.
Yeah. No, the gazing thing has just been it's been a relatively new thing. It's only started excuse me. It started probably about 3 months ago. And then these other seizures that I'm having right now that are each day, that started about 2 weeks ago. So it's really on a weirdly strange increased wave. And luckily, again, I'm getting treated tomorrow with that surgery. So
Do you
the
feel like the
RNS,
anxiety has kind of pushed the feelings a little bit more recently? Has that been one of the stigmas that's going along with how you're
I was
feeling?
I was having a discussion with my psychologist about that this afternoon, actually, and that definitely has something to do with it because I am a very antsy person, if you want to say another note or in another note. But it's whenever I'm not antsy is when I am able to uh, make my artwork, play some drums, especially my drums. If I can have those somewhere, oh my goodness, I would blow this place. I think it might fall apart. You just
Gotta
get
get you a
into it.
digi set. Gotta get you a digi set. I'm telling you. That was the game changer for us. When you can plug those headphones that you got on right there, and the only
Yeah.
sound that your neighbors would hear is this. That's literally all the louder it is when you hit those Remo pad things. That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's fantastic. You can't do rim
Yeah.
shots. Maybe rim shots might be out, but
You know what? The technology on musical instruments, oh, what a it's gotten to a point where everything's made in pretty much the same country right now, if not the same general location of the world, and that's the east side of the world, mostly in China and Vietnam and lots of other places.
Indonesia,
Yeah,
yeah,
all these places over there, and
yeah.
it's a lot cheaper to make, so they're able to get a lot more sales and make some more dough. And I noticed that over the years, I know that Remo still makes a really great drum set for their
Yeah.
electric stuff, but it was I could never feel the same way whenever I played them because until it was like into the 3 grand mark, and I'm like, wow, okay, that's where the release, it's not, it doesn't feel like you're hitting a book. It's not hitting this, you know. It feels like you're getting a good bounce out of it, and
That's it. I'll even tell you when I first started playing on that Elisa set, I was playing with wood tip, and I always play with wood tip. And then
yeah,
somebody handed me, they're like, "You're playing the digis? Use these little rubber tip, these little plastic tip ones. Try these on there."
that's pretty
Oh, the
cool.
action is night and day. You get such a better roll and everything. My Falam sound cleaner, everything. Oh, I love it. I
Yeah,
absolutely love those things. And I would have not.
yeah,
And you put me back on a normal drum set, and immediately I'm like, all right, get these the hell out of my hand. They are not for this. They are for the other set. Give me the wooden, big fat woodens, the big old 2Bs. Give me something big and fat to hold on to. I have a hard time holding on to stuff. So
yeah.
sometimes I even like put something in my hand and then hold on to the stick so that I don't have to squeeze my hands quite as tight because my hands will like I'll just be sitting there and my hands
Yeah,
will get
yeah.
stuck. Oh,
That's
it's
where
so annoying.
that's where you
Sometimes my
get those
hands will like
blisters, man.
sometimes I'll do this. Like I'll be like playing guitar and I'll be like in a bar and then my hand will just be stuck there. And I'll be like, I can pull all my hands back and it goes right back to that spot. It's like, oh my God.
We might need to
Oh,
get you
in and
some kind
out. Yeah, you guys got in and out there. We've got cookout here. It's like the same
oh,
thing. They've even got the little church things on the bottom, the little psalm or something on the bottom of the cups and stuff. I
oh,
remember that
yeah.
was one of the things I remembered about them was that them and the animal fries.
Oh gosh, yeah. They still got their secret menu. That's still going. I actually got one around here. It's right behind me, probably about a quarter of a mile, and it's in the most inconvenient location to be in when you have a very long line of cars that go around the corner of a very small street. You have a okay, pretend right here, all of this square that's where my face is. you have the in and out. At one point, you have houses over here and over here. And then this is the main road. This has 3 different lanes. And you have to go all the way over to where these houses are in order to get into this place, and then you have to go around uh, the other area, and you have this super long corner, and it just really ruins traffic all the damn time, and it's really
That's not
annoying.
even kind of surprising because that's how they build
Oh,
everything out there. They
and
say they
it's
do that in all the cities. They as soon as they can
yeah,
put buildings anywhere, they're like, yeah, there's room. Here you go. Good luck. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember the Jack in the Box right there at the V. So
Oh
like
yeah,
it's like right there, and there was a sushi place in that plaza that I would go
yeah,
to for lunch like almost every single day. So
yeah.
it's like
They used to have a sushi place over at the end of Newport, um, Newport Pier. That used to be a sushi
ah,
restaurant, and then
that's not anymore.
no, that everything actually is getting modeled over there.
Oh,
So
weird.
I
Huh?
guess
I didn't know that.
they've been getting more traffic, so they're gonna expand it and make it more of a tourist destination. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're probably trying to go HB on it, and, you know, honey, it's gonna be cheap.
Right. That's it. That's what they do to everything. It
Yeah.
was like they were
I
trying to
like the
keep
way
the
it is now,
tourists
it's
out
nice.
when I lived there. They were like trying really hard to keep all the touristy people down in HB. So they would talk about they wouldn't talk about it like trestles. Like if you were like a local who talked to somebody from out of town about trestles, then you weren't a local like that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like that. Like people didn't
yeah.
like it. Like I would surf between 42 and 46 in between those rocks and stuff and the little jetty parts, and it was
I'd be
like there were
terrified.
there were certain people that were there. Like if you weren't supposed to be there, if they didn't recognize you, they cut you off on the wave. And I didn't know that when I first started. And they'd come right at me and like try to push me off the waves. And then they'd realize, oh, well, he's here like every day
It's
now.
here
Like
it
I can't cut him off every day. Like I can't be a dick every day. Like
but a lot of people were getting pushed off because they could tell, if you're new here, you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna get hurt. You should probably go over to those smaller waves down the street.
you should be over there at sunset or something.
Yeah,
You should
yeah,
probably go ride sunset. Maybe
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
maybe Long Beach 2.5 footers are for you.
Now that we have everything melting around us, I'm sure we're gonna have even larger. Man, it's been raining like insane over here lately. It's
That's weird. That's
it's been
definitely
causing
weird.
a lot more water to come into town. So actually, a little bit of last year, I think it was in September. There was a lot of rain that came down, and it actually made where the PCH uh, train tracks are. It made them fall in that cliff area. It fell
Yeah.
and broke, and
That
took them
sounds
a
like
while to fix it.
PV.
Now it's fixed, so it's all good.
I say that sounds
Um,
like PV when the side of the hill falls off all the time. Like
yeah,
that's
there
crazy.
were lots
Just
of
the roads just you go to work one morning and the road's just not there. Like that's
yeah,
insane to me.
there
Like
were lots of people
scary.
who lost their homes over that time because it hadn't rained in almost I think a whole year, and it was just extremely dry. And all of a sudden, all of this rain came out of nowhere, and it's still doing it now. I mean, it rained. It's probably raining now right behind me, but
Really? Holy cow. I didn't know it was raining that much. I know we've been hearing
yeah,
it from my wife's family and stuff as well. So I mean that's
yeah.
and it's scary when it rains down there because it washes all those channels,
Nastiness
the
is.
water, all that stuff gets washed down. Like, don't go swimming for a little while. I don't recommend it unless you feel like having hepatitis for sure. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
so bad.
Yeah.
I don't. That's the kind of stuff that I don't miss is how dirty it was. But it's not much better here, unfortunately. They even call this place Hollywood East because they film a lot of when they're too broke, when it's too expensive to do a movie in LA, they do it here. So
it
they
smells
shows
quite
like,
nasty.
One Tree Hill, Dawson's Creek. There's been a bunch of different shows and stuff that were all filmed here. I didn't know that until I moved here either, which was kind of funny. But the one thing is it's very art oriented here, and that's one cool thing to me because I love
so
art.
much history.
You'll never run out.
history,
You'll never run out of something
Never.
cool to look at, something cool to listen to, something cool to vibe to, and that's what brought me to you originally. Was I was going through. I looked up in Google. I Googled epileptic artists. And I went through epileptic artists for a day, just looking at only art done by epileptics.
Yeah.
It brought me to you a couple times. And it was funny because I didn't click on it the first time. They're like art show in Costa Mesa. I'm like, oh, I thought I was just talking about a random art show that happened to have one guy in it. But no, once I clicked, I was like, oh, this was a full showcase for him. This was all of his art. And it had said he had brain surgery. And he was now doing art. And I'm like, oh, this pleases me greatly to hear, because I was so worried that could be a part of something that really disappears. And like you said, even with the RNS, you're like, please don't take away my creativity, because it's one of those things. I'm like, man, that might be all I have left at this point. I've been a contractor for 20 years. I've been in business for 12. And now that it seems like I might never be able to do that stuff again. I can barely work on our own house right now. So when I hear, oh no, I might not be able to paint and draw and play guitar and sing and do all this as well anymore either, because
having the opportunity to stay in focus and pay attention to what you're trying to complete, but also to complete it. I want to be able to have the motivation to continue on like I always have. And there's something that about when you are making art is that of any kind, be it music, be it just physical, just a drawing of any kind. Once you're done with it, you're done with it, and you just leave it alone. Don't touch it again. And it just really feels like you finished making a book, and it's a very beautiful sensation. It's a great thing.
That's it. That feeling of completing a goal, because the goal is whatever you say it is. All that completion is whenever I say it is. You know what? It might look half done to you. Well, it looks exactly like it did in my head.
You know what? So this is from one of my good friends who I used to play music with, and actually just played. Last time I played drums was a few weeks ago, and we got to jam for a little while at a rehearsal place down the street, and but he has the most. I love his artwork so much. It's very interesting.
I like that.
But yeah, just his style.
Oh man, I like the eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they don't line up perfectly. They're not exactly where eyes would be, and so it makes you want to look at it a little harder. It's like, I believe it. I see those blue eyes. Let's see what you got there.
If this is going to be easy to, let me see if I can get a better shot. There we go. Yeah, but now it says now everybody in the bar is getting tipsy. But it's just he gets really creepy with them too. And he just will I've got just a few different things from him, and he's been he's starting to really enjoy what I've been able to create, and not just starting to, but he's understanding that I'm a lot more serious in what I've been trying to make, and everything that I have been doing has been very helpful in my psychological aspects of being involved with this. But are
I
you
guess,
still there?
no, there I
you are.
am. I
Anyways,
guess it works a lot better if you can actually hear me.
there we
Sorry
go.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I
The,
didn't see you there for a moment.
Yeah. Now, I had a question here. Somebody asked, do you do art with your therapist at all, or is that something you just do on your own?
That's all on my own. That's an everyday thing. That's about all I do now. All I just started kind of taking walks again, but now that I've been feeling the way that I have been, I've had to stop those and stay inside. Um, but oh yeah, all my artwork, I just do it here. I'll draw it with the pencil, go over it with the Sharpie, and I've got just two different types of Sharpies, and one of them is the standard ultra fine point, and then you have this. Excuse me, you have the
Contractor? Got the big contractor ones?
yeah, got that right. Yeah, just that, and then a very small, very thin one, but it's a lot of fun to use those. I like those. An unfortunate smell, but you can only get. But
Yeah, they're a little
it's
rough.
really cool because you don't have to really put too much effort into while you're using them, and it just will make its own little bloody mark on your paper. But
Yeah.
then once I do that, I just make sure it's all ready to go. I put it through on the scanner and go on use Illustrator and throw some colors in there, and that kind of just gives them a nice touch. And I never thought about making any colors at all, or even I was just kind of drawing for um, my own family members as like
So
little
you
at first,
so
and
you
it
don't
was
ever
just
do
black and
color
white.
anymore, or because it seemed
No,
like you did
I
color at
do.
some point?
No, I do color still. Yeah, I make sure it's colored. That's otherwise now they look kind of weird when they're not in color. But um, it's that one day I had just randomly drawn some chili peppers, and they were on a it was a very simple drawing, and just these big giant cartoony chili peppers. And um a friend of mine said, out of all the drawings that you've been doing lately, this one you should definitely color in. And I'm like, I didn't ever really think about that for some reason. I never wanted to. I just wanted to make one a day and make it something to do. And it turned out to be, it looked really nice after I went through Illustrator, because I was taught how to use that basically when I was about 16. My sister and she taught me how to use that for a job. And um, a job to make ad banners. That was cool. I had some extra cash when I was a kid, but and after a little
And you
while
definitely
though, I
need
just
to get out there.
after once I would always get up in the morning though, and just walk not too far down around the corner from here. There was a place um that was a Australian cafe, and they had some food, and they had pretty decent food actually, and owned by an actual Australian man. And he was always moving very fast, hard to talk to, but the people there, they were always really nice. But they were but the place is called Outpost, and that's no longer there. They ended up moving to another location. um But I would always go there every morning and get some coffee. They always had really great coffee, so I'd always get a nice latte and then just sit down with my little book and Sharpie and just go to town on it and see whatever I can do. But now it's become
That's
a
awesome. I
thing
like that.
where,
I like that process, my man. That sounds
yeah,
like a really relaxing, like nice,
it was
like
wonderful.
something that you could be consistent. It's something you could do that felt natural, that just was comfortable. I love that. I love that. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome, my friend.
And I'd
I
always
really
bring
like
my
that. Now,
headphones.
hey, yeah, there's a thing over on the right side that says private chat there. Go ahead
Yeah.
and put your the link for, I believe I can take it out here. Put the link for your art page. I'm trying to find, I thought I had it in my history here, and apparently that must have been on Laura's computer. So I'm confused. Go ahead and I'll put that up on the screen here, and then if anybody wants to take a look
So
at Zach's page, he's on Instagram, he's on what, Facebook, you're on what, Twitter, and
no, not on Twitter
not Twitter.
for my
Okay.
artwork. But I am on Instagram as well as Facebook. Okay, and here is my website that pops up to anyone.
No, that goes to me. I'm gonna put that
Okay,
right
cool.
here. Create a banner. Bada boom, paste. And banner.
Yeah,
That's why I was putting it there. So bang boom. DJBars.com.
cool.
So ZJBeckemeyer.arts.com.
Yeah,
So if anybody would like to see some more of what he's made, I mean, that's his page. It has a lot of things. He is available on Facebook, Instagram, like you said. So if you guys are more interested in seeing more of this art he's talking about, it's beautiful. Some of the stuff I've seen on the original article that I had come across. Let's see, do this without slowing the processor down too much. Seems that what it comes down to is this computer can only use Wi-Fi unless I find one of the other cords, and so that'll be
really?
a next step. This one, it has it artist. This is on the Daily Pilot. Let's see. Yeah, some of these pictures that show you like the it shows your up here. Type. So that's a problem. I try this like no. And this is why production studios.
Cables are very
I have
important.
I have tattooed. I have wings tattooed on me. Let me
I see that.
here.
I'm looking at the little comments right now. You got a nice little space kitty, eh?
Yeah, that's my wife.
Meow.
Yeah, that's it's gonna be choppy until this page loads. Is the problem?
Yeah, well, it keeps cutting out as you're talking.
Yeah, give it 1 second. I'll wait till this thing goes through, and then it'll be less obnoxious to me. Because I'm on the Wi-Fi, it keeps being choppy.
Yeah, understood.
Here. That's that one there.
Yeah,
That
this
one. So
this summer was a very very opening or not this summer, but the summer of 2022 was very very nice, very great to open my artwork with, because was when I was able to have both of one of my when I had my first placement in a gallery, and then another one the same day. Actually, I had another which is from this picture here. That was the other one for
that picture of the
hidden
pier.
That was the
and
one
Shoes
that it
Project.
immediately caught my attention. Immediately,
I'm
I
glad that
saw
one
that.
really
It
got,
was
yeah,
it
I'm
intrigued
really
me
glad
greatly
about that.
because I knew exactly what I was looking at. I knew exactly what I was looking at when I saw it.
Hmm,
I'm like, wow.
good.
I'm like, I know. This is so cool. I'm like, I can picture it in my head, and I'm like, I'm looking at it to see the colors that you're trying to see, you know. And I'm like, I'll never be able to feel exactly what it is he's feeling as he
Mhm.
made this picture, but it created an emotion in me that compelled me to reach out to you. That picture right there compelled me. So it truly caught me in a way that I was
Good.
like, holy cow, Newport. It's like reminded me of the short time I lived there, you know. It's
Yeah, yeah,
very cool to me.
of course.
That's
Absolutely. And
awesome.
you know, when after I had added a little bit of it to extra piece of it to for the city of Costa Mesa, because they have a thing called the um, Art Utility Box program. And so the utility boxes that are around town that are normally just painted one color, they have a way that they have printed, and they make sure that they're put on the utility boxes very, very well. And they were actually able to use that one, and also two of my other drawings and designs. But that one of the Blue Jay as well, that one is a personal favorite of mine. My mom really loved that one. She picked that one as one of the first ones to be put
That one right there. That
on
yeah,
there.
that's so
Yeah,
pretty.
it turned out
And we
very
get Blue
well.
Jays and Cardinals in our front bushes. And it used to be the Blue Jays, but then the Cardinals kicked their butts and then kicked them out. So now it's the Cardinals.
Really,
So yeah, it surprised me
I've
because those
always
Blue Jays were there for like 2 years.
I was gonna say it's whenever I make any of these designs, I always make sure to to write a story about them, and I put that and I place that with the art itself. I put that on the not on the back of it, but on another page. Um, they go together, and how I set them up, and it's when I was reading about and learning about research and everything about the Blue Jays is that they're very mean, and they are definitely
Yeah, they're
willing to
jerks.
kick.
Yeah,
They'll go over and decapitate other birds and steal their nests, and that's their spot. And I
that's what
never
happened. They
thought about
came in
that.
and stole the finches' nests when we first moved in. I
Yeah.
watched it happening because the little finches were always in the tree. Then the Blue Jays came in, and then one day this male and female cardinal came in, and they made it was a couple days I saw those Blue Jays again, and after that they kicked them out. I was kind of shocked because I always thought the same thing. Blue Jays are pretty ruthless birds for their size and beauty. You don't expect them to be like that, but man, I was truly shocked. That's so
Bird
funny. That's so funny.
birds are ridiculous. There's a ton of at my neighbor's house. There's a ton uh, of hummingbirds, and they always go by you like boom. You know, they're very fast birds, but they go right next to your head, and it always makes it look like they're gonna run right into you. They're not that far away. They're probably about that far away from your side of your head, but they always go right past your head when you're sitting underneath this area over in their yard. And because there's a bird feeder there, and it's like, why are you gonna keep that bird feeder there? And they just like to see it happen. People are always scared. No one's ever gotten hurt
My
by
grandma always
it.
had those little sugar feeder things hanging
Yeah,
on her
yeah.
back porch, and we'd be sitting there at the table, and they'd just be like right into those little flower looking things, like this far from your face, and you're like, I can feel your wind, yo. Like, careful there. Please don't poke me in my eye. Like, but like you said, they're really good at deciding how far or not far they are from something. Their depth perception is far better than mine.
Oh gosh, yes.
Have you ever
Yeah,
done the Sawdust Festival?
I have not. No.
I was say that's like always going. I remember that when I lived out there, my wife got us out there. That was that's an interesting place. Seems like that'd be a good place to sell your art. That's where all the ritzy artsy fartsies go. I thought.
I wouldn't mind it. I was able to sell actually all 3 of the pieces of artwork that were at the my first art show, and I thought that was a great experience. That would definitely is
That's
what blew me up.
awesome.
And
That's awesome.
yeah,
I'm
so
impressed. There's a lot of people that make art. I've been making art my whole life, but nobody's ever bought it.
yeah, and it was I placed them for $100 each, and they were already they're nicely framed. They had good matting on there. They're all done, and they all had their stories in there as well. And and the woman, she decided that she's gonna buy one for her and her daughter and then her son. So I thought that was really nice. And one of them is a picture I have of a old steamship from 1909. It's called SS wHaT. And the wHaT was it was just a, a steamship that was built in Scotland for the UK, and then they would just go to on their first route. They went to Australia, and then from Australia we went to Africa. And when they were going into Africa, unfortunately, there was hurricane bad winds, and on their second route, boom, gone, never found again. And they were never were able to understand where it was. They actually stopped looking for it in 2011, and was a interesting thing to think about. And you know,
Do you
taking
like
that.
history in general? Are you a history person?
Oh yeah, I love that. That's a big help with this. I always get to learn something new, and
Is that one of the methods for helping build back your other memory things? Is just learning history and using like bits and pieces? Like, do things like remind you? Like one moment you'll be like, somebody will be talking to you and you don't really remember something, but then somebody says something that will spark a memory that you hadn't really been able to come up with since your brain surgery. Is that something that happens with you? Because I've heard that from other people that have had brain surgery where they say, I couldn't come up with these memories from like my teenage years for a while, but then all of a sudden somebody would say something that would spark the memory, and now that memory was back, and then I would have that memory from that point on.
Yeah, sometimes it could be it's difficult to really gauge much of it because it's all in chunks in different locations and in different time frames. And it was more memories of some childhood memories I still have, but not all of them. And then there's a lot of my memories are when I was playing music, and that was when I was in high school, and then towards the end of towards the I don't know, like when I was 23, and then I wasn't able to really play too much. And yeah, that just kind of was a big settle or a big downer on the mind. It was that kind of change. It's like, well, then what should I do? I don't think I should do anything. And then I try to go to college and to try and settle down and with learning there. And then I ended up having a panic attack in one of the classrooms because I was afraid I was going to have a seizure in there. And then all of a sudden I just went and pretty much ran out to the bus stop and smoked a bowl of marijuana, and then that was about it.
Do you use CBD at all? Like I know we've
Actually,
talked about smoking grass and stuff. Because like I use Holmes Organic. It's extra virgin. It's organic extra virgin olive oil and pure. It's FDA and organic and everything else approved. So it's like the company's like a really good company that makes a really quality product, and it's for so far like when I don't feel like taking a Klonopin, I start with that, and a lot of times it works. I didn't
If
start
it
taking it till like
does,
3 months ago. I was shocked. I
it's
didn't think
good.
it was
It's
gonna
hard
work
to
like
it's very hard to find actual legitimate people who have the CBD itself because
that. Yeah.
it's somewhat difficult to gain from the plant, and it's not in every plant. You have to find the actual type of plant itself. Pardon my moving around a lot, actually.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine.
There's this stuff that a friend of mine makes. It's actually this one has a mint scent to it, but the other one doesn't have any scent to it at all. Not even marijuana.
Is that the
but
topical balm? Like it
but
works
yeah,
well on muscles
it's
and stuff and everything?
exactly, yeah, and it's great for your skin. And it has coconut oil in there, and also some other options that are, or some other items in there that are very good for your skin in general. But it's best to use this kind of stuff, especially CBD, and after a good shower. After you just dry yourself off, get off all that dirty skin and everything, and get a warm shower. Your pores
It's
just
like putting
open
on a
right
good
up.
shea butter. Put it on when your
Yeah,
body will
exactly.
accept it when your
Your
pores are nice and
pores,
open. Yeah.
yeah, are huge. So just get it on there, and then it'll get in there a lot quicker and get in your bloodstream, and that's how it works.
See,
But
that's
he
why I like
gets
the virgin oil that I've been using,
yeah,
because it's like they tell you basically just put it under your tongue and let it sit there for like 10, 15 seconds so that it can really work its way in before you swallow it. Because it will take longer to get in through the rest of you, but if you let it go in through your mouth, it'll go in quicker, I guess.
yeah,
So I do that. About 15 minutes later, my head feels like I'm a balloon and my body is the string. But I love it. I love the fact that it goes from feeling like somebody just hit me in the side of the head with an axe and then feeling like I'm about to fall out to, all right, I still feel like I might fall out, but I don't feel like there's an axe going through my head at this point, at least. Like it really helps me get myself calm, but it makes me fall asleep is the only downside. So I'm wondering if that topical might be my
yeah.
next solution as like
That's
something
weird.
else.
That's strange. Yeah, I'd highly suggest this item from anyone if he was some kind of a commercial deal or on this. He just makes it not just for himself, but he makes it for a friend of his as well, and his friend does the rest of it. But they grow it both together, and then that's it. That's make sure that it's a legitimate source. So they start from the ground up is exactly the way to go with it. But
Awesome.
it's nice to have, and even my mother tried it on and it helped her out for a little while. And
That's awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome
so
that
I
she was
thought that
able
was really
to.
nice. And my mom's
It's
72
weird
years
how many
old, so
people aren't confident. They've had it put in their head for
yeah,
so many years that marijuana is bad, and if you
yeah,
do it, you're a druggie and all this. And so getting people to understand, like, this isn't even illegal, folks. It's not even illegal.
yeah,
Give it a shot, just give it a shot. Me, I just thought because I used cannabis for so long, it wasn't going to work for me. But when you just have only that tincture, it's like, well, now you're taking just one of those, which you only get a little bit of if you smoke it. But if you take the tincture, you're getting only that. You're getting that full spectrum CBD. And I think
yeah.
occasionally there's some THC in there, but I can't verify that.
It's
I don't
yeah,
mind.
you got to look into it
I
on your
can't wait
own.
till
But
next
you
week
got
when I
to.
do those ketamine injections, because
Oh my goodness.
five
I'm
five.
surprised that's legal. I didn't know even. I mean, I
I didn't
saw
know
that
either.
once at my psychiatrist's office one day.
Yeah, they're
They have
doing
that
an
there.
international and 2 national studies right now that are focused 100% on helping people with general tonic-clonic seizures and focal partial seizures and different. It's basically all types of seizures, and
Huh.
they're saying it's a 50-50 with people. Like some people it works and
Wow.
some people it doesn't. And I'm like, well, I'd much rather have a yes or a no than a maybe, because I've had a lot of maybes in 15 years, and
Oh yeah.
maybes are fine sometimes, but I'm not a maybe kind of guy. I'm a results kind of guy. I'm a contractor. I'm like, maybes in building houses are not a thing. It's
Yeah.
either build the house or the house falls down. You know, like it's like you get your choice. This is what I use. It's called Homes Organic. I don't know if
Oh yeah, I think
and
I've
it
seen
literally
that. That looks very familiar.
and it's literally it comes in a bottle. It's uh, certified organic by one cert. It's zero guaranteed 100 0.0 THC, USA hemp, non-GMO, broad spectrum, USDA organic. So I mean, I'm like, well, those are all fairly good things to have on your on the side of your bottle, and it
Yeah.
says what's in it: organic olive oil and CBD tincture. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. And nothing else. No food colorings like the gummies bears and stuff. I'd love to be able to take those, but the gummies and stuff all have food coloring, and I'm allergic to the food coloring, unfortunately. And so it like causes me to have other issues as soon as I start eating those. And it's really weird. Like now that I've cut all that stuff out of my diet, all it takes is for me to go to McDonald's one time. The last 3 times I ate McDonald's, the last like couple, I tried it just to see if it was consistently doing it. And when I go to McDonald's, I'll eat like 4 double cheeseburgers. I'm 135 pounds. I'm not a very big guy, but I eat insane amounts of food. And so I go in there and I ate 4 double cheeseburgers and had a seizure. I'm like, do you think it was the McDonald's? And they're like, well, let's try it again. So I did it again. Next day, had a seizure. Like, no way. This can't be. Ate it again about a week later, just to give it a little bit of time in between. Bang, seizure the next day. Taco Bell does it to me. Basically, all the fast food places. Cookout, not so bad. I don't seem to have a problem with Cookout. Subway, I can't eat Subway. The pizza places, I can't eat pizzas because they have food colorings and different dough softeners and different weird things to keep things from spoiling that aren't. It's like, well, if you're making it fresh, millions of them a day, why do you need that stuff? That stuff is not necessary. So you're just like
part of their
poisoning your customers for what? Like, I don't get it. Like, what are they owned by the pharmaceutical companies? So they're just trying to make sure we get sick when we eat, so they can make sure we show up at the hospital. Like, really feels like a catch-22, like a real real racket sometimes. I swear. So I mean, it bugs me. Yep. Man, I tell you what, we're coming up on 2 hours, and I know both of us, it's hard enough for me to keep myself attended this long, and the fact that we were able to get through this conversation with neither one of us having an episode, I'm pretty freaking stoked. I'm pretty freaking stoked on that. I want everybody to keep in mind, tomorrow Zach will be going in for an RNS implantation, the responsive neurostimulator surgery. It will be going into his brain to see if they can solve the other few seizures that he's having now that he has had brain surgery and had a part of his brain removed to help with one part. Now we're going to see if we can't help with the other. So anybody, if you want, make sure you get on and maybe send him a nice comment on his page, or say something good. Give him some good hope. There's a lot of good people that come and watch this show. A lot of good big-hearted people that really do care about their fellow human beings, just like me and my family. We really care about people. And when we heard your story and we heard how similar it was, we really wanted to make sure we reached out to you to learn who Zach Beckemeyer really was. And
thank you.
And, you know, I'm really glad that we did. I'm glad we got to have this conversation. So tomorrow, I really hope everything goes exactly as it's going to. I know it's going to. You're at home. You guys are you got a confident doctor. You got all the stuff. Don't let your fear and anxiety bring you down, my man. We're here to get through this shit. We're here to get through this shit. And just know, on the other side, we're going to be here. If you need somebody to talk to anytime, my email, my DMs are always open. Always open. I will always be here. So you make sure you get through that surgery good tomorrow. You come back to us nice and healthy. And when you're feeling good enough, you come back and we'll talk about this some more, and we'll see how everything's going and check up on you.
This is cool. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
This has been a blast, my man. I truly appreciate you coming on. And next time I'll make sure if I literally bought this computer yesterday and did a sound test with it yesterday, and then I'm literally using the camera on it. I'm surprised the camera doesn't actually look all feel that bad. I'm kind of surprised.
You're in a better condition now. It wasn't too
Yeah,
good earlier. So.
I think the being so far away from that monitor or that modem was just the problem. So now I gotta go through my pile of what do you call them, of cords now, and go find the one that plugs into the modem. So now I can run that all right into the computer. So maybe that'll help for next time, so I don't have to make sure I don't leave you stranded on the stream by yourself again. That was pretty awkward. So I'm glad you stuck with me there. Let me go swimming for a little while. Go swimming in my deep sea tank.
Yeah, man, you were going somewhere. I don't know.
That's it. It was really weird. It kicked me right off of my own stream. I'm like, no. So I ran to the back and I was like, no, come on. This is not good. This is not good at all. No, yeah. But no, that's awesome. Thank you for sticking with me, coming out, giving us your time. And, I truly appreciate it. You have a wonderful story. You have beautiful art and you have a great soul, my man. And I really want the best for you. So, we're going to cross our fingers. We're going to hold our hearts, and we're going to send all our good vibes and love your way, my friend.
Yeah, much love to you and your family, and everyone. You have your own. You know what? I just had to miss one thing today, and that was the first period of Ducks hockey. So that's all on you. That's your fault.
Man, I should have T-voted for you. I should have T-voted for you. Yeah. My bad.
No, it's all good. They suck this year, so it's
yeah. Luckily, I'm a Bruins and a Penguins fan when it comes to hockey.
Bruins are not losing one game.
No, they are. They are disgustingly good. I don't know. I don't understand how they just took over. I thought it was going to be Pittsburgh that came up and just stayed there at the top, but I was wrong.
No, man. Those Bruins they're going presidents more than likely.
Heck yeah.
All right, my friend. All right, I'll talk
brother.
to you.
You have a great night and stay safe and much love. Peace out.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, that was fantastic. I'm so glad he was able to join us. I'm honestly, I'm proud. I'm proud that this is how this went. This was I've been working on this show for this is 20 weeks now. I mean, 19, 20 weeks. I mean, we've been working hard on this. I've had help from the I see my my thing's slowing down there. I've had help from the fearlessly authentic people, my homies Lucky Burrito and Steve Cutler Live, and they've been so awesome to me, helping me learn how to do this, helping me get through the process, helping me learn more about myself. Even if I hadn't started hanging out and talking to Steve, I would have never found that guitar, and I would have never found a good therapy for my disappointment and anger that I'm feeling right now from all of these seizures. I'm so glad that we had the opportunity to do this, because what do you know? You're not alone. I'm right here. And did you hear that? Zach's just on the other side of the country doing the exact same thing, dealing with the exact same crap, only a little more exponentially worse than how mine was going, because they were able to convince him that brain surgery was the right idea. And me, I was kind of holding off, and I still am. Because at this point, I don't really trust the doctors. I don't trust the medicines. I don't trust the treatments. I don't trust the devices. I don't trust the studies. I don't trust any of it. The only thing I trust is my wife. I trust that she's going to be there for me, that my family is going to be here for me, and that no matter what it takes, we're going to pressure through and we're going to figure this out. So next week, it's ketamine injections. Wish me luck. Have a great week.